So again, I would like to welcome everyone to our Novae Money Affiliate Program 2.0 Information and Compensation Explanation. And I tell you, I challenge you to try to say that 3 times fast after this is over with, okay? If you don't know, my name is Rico McDaniel. I'm the President and Chief Executive Officer of Novae. Blessed and fortunate to be in a position where we've been able to help a lot of people over the course of the last 3 years, actually going into our 4th year in 2018. And I'm very grateful for the position, that I've been placed in to be able to help many, many people across this country. Real quick, I started from very humble beginnings prior to becoming an entrepreneur. I grew up in a single-parent home, housing projects on the south side of Atlanta. And as I got older, I started to realize that life was more so about a choice, not really accepting your circumstances and being down on yourself and being depressed and being upset and mad, but really taking control of your life. And I had some great people in my life who raised me, and they knew a lot about, fighting and giving life all you had, persevering, working hard, treating people right, keeping God first. But they really didn't know about how to build wealth. They really didn't know about going out and building enterprises for yourself. And I was blessed at the age of 20 years old to be introduced to some individuals that started teaching me how to do that. It started teaching me more about finances. It started teaching me about entrepreneurship. It started teaching me about personal growth and self-development. And within the next 5 years, I was able to get to a point of earning a few $1 million in this industry as an entrepreneur. And it's, been a long road ever since, but I could just say my life has not only been transformed, but we've been able to help thousands of people all across this country transform their lives as well as a result of this information that I've received, and also that we're actually giving other people as well. So I want to go ahead and jump into it because we have a rare opportunity to have access to the man of the hour, Mr. Seth Mitchell. He's the President and Chief Executive Officer of Priority Financial Solutions, and he's actually the brains behind, a company that's helping a tremendous amount of people all across this country. I've known Seth now for over a decade, and he's done some great things. And just like me, started off in college as an entrepreneur, coming from very humble beginnings, and able to start companies that are reaching people all across the country right now. And eventually, we have plans to reach people all across this globe. So since our inception in 2014, he's came on board with us, and literally, we're talking about tens of thousands of individuals talking about Novae Money across this country, probably almost over 100,000 customers. And I'm sure the number of credit scores that we've helped rise up, and the number of deletions that we've been able to get off credit reports, soon is going to be reaching into the millions. So without further ado, at least what I want to do is just welcome Mr. Seth Mitchell on the call, on the webinar, on the Facebook Live. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us this evening. Are you able to hear me and see me okay?
I can hear you and see you fine. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. I believe you're muted on the webinar. Can you see that from your side?
Hold on one second. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay.
All right, so thanks for joining us this evening, Mr. Mitchell. I know we got a few things that we need to go over in terms of talking about some of these additions to Novae Money and how excited we are about those additions and these additional services that we're going to be offering. We got, people all across the country that's on the line this evening to be able to hear this information. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Novae Money is a product that we've been offering, for since 2014. We initially started the company. In fact, then it wasn't even called Novae Money. It was called the Education Pack. I don't know if you remember that or not. Where we wanted to educate people on their credit, on their, their budget, and on the getting out of debt and things of that nature. And it evolved into Novae Money. So the first thing I want to talk about tonight, because I know Novae Money is really our flagship product, and we made some additions to that. But let's kind of start there for individuals who are not very familiar with Novae Money, or maybe they're a little bit familiar. Could you talk about, why Novae Money is the flagship product that we offer, what we focus on with Novae and Priority Financial Solutions, and why do you think most people should start there?
All right, yeah, no problem. So if you just really think about where we are right now in society, I was even talking to my wife last week about this. If you kind of start seeing a lot of commercials, dealing with credit monitoring and, just kind of getting involved in your finances. And, there's a lot of, I would say, industry leaders that are out here that's also talking about individuals' finances as a whole. That's one of the things that when we even sat down and kind of created this product that has, kind of morphed into Novae Money, that's what we wanted to address, because the bottom line is that America, as it relates to finances, is struggling. Now, there's a lot of people that, they wear a lot of masks and they walk around and they look like they're doing pretty well. But if you really were to pull the mask back and get behind the scenes and kind of really see what's going on in their financial lives, most people will be pretty shocked of, that they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're hoping that, they don't get laid off. And if they do get laid off, they're not going to be able to have enough reserves in the bank to be able to move forward. So what we wanted to do with Novae Money is to address the fundamental aspects of an individual's financial life. One of the things, the big thing or the big item that I will say, is obviously an individual's credit. A lot of things you're not able to do a whole lot in America right now if your credit score is shot. From simple things as getting a job or getting, good rates on your insurance, and, not to say, or in addition to rather, buying a home or buying that new car. If your credit isn't where it needs to be, then obviously you're going to have trouble. And kind of back to my original point of what I was talking about with all these commercials that are dealing with credit monitoring right now, you got Credit Karma and different things like that, is that people are more informed probably today than they ever have been as it relates to their credit. And that's actually a good thing for what we're doing, because what's going to happen is people are going to figure out that, oh, wow, I didn't realize my credit score was a 580 or a 600. How can I get that higher? And guess what they're going to do? They're going to be looking for a product like Novae Money to be able to take them to where they want to go. And in addition to the credit, obviously, we have the budgeting tool and the debt elimination tool, because those are the other two big items as it relates to someone's finances that they usually struggle with. We have a lot of individuals that have a lot of debt, or, they just don't really know how to budget. They've been taught, and, it's simple math, but at the end of the day, it's a behavioral change that has to take place. And the only way that happens is to be able to get, personal with your finances and start figuring out where your money's going from month to month.
Awesome. That was definitely a phenomenal answer. I mean, when you talk about the power of credit, because a lot of people, they have a philosophy that cash flow is king, and obviously cash flow, you definitely want to have great cash flow, but some people take it even further and they say cash is king, and they really don't believe in, having good credit. Some people prefer to maybe rent an apartment or rent a house and, different things of that nature. What do you think the importance of being an owner is? Like, why is having good credit important? Ownership is one reason, but can you just give everybody who's listening right now the importance of why you shouldn't be concerned about having a good credit score?
Sure. If you just think about kind of how credit works in general, we're talking about a 3-digit number that allows you to be able to leverage a high amount of money. I'll give you a great, perfect, just happened last week scenario. Me and my wife's got a couple of ventures going on or whatever. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, we have the money in the bank, but there's a couple of things that we want to do. Let's go out here and, just take a good line of credit. Just based on her credit score, we were able to leverage tens of thousands of dollars just by her taking care of her finances and doing what she needed to do. Now, people that, go by the philosophy that cash is king, I understand the principle where they're coming from, but most individuals that's in our society today don't have tens of thousands of dollars laying around. So it doesn't, and what that doesn't allow them to be able to do is take advantage of opportunities. There's opportunities that's floating around that comes across every day. And, it can be the best opportunity in the world. But the bottom line is if you don't, one, have the cash in the bank like you were talking about, or number two, being able to leverage, a loan or a line of credit or someone investing into you based on your credit score, there's a lot of things that you're going to miss out on the opportunity of. And if you really start digging into people's stories and their life history that, kind of promote those things, what you will find out is that they didn't start off, just shelling out cash. They started off by leveraging credit themselves. And then maybe, by over leveraging, it kind of made them step back and kind of look at life a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like being able to say, put 2, 3, 4, 5% down, and then you're able to maximize that money to be able to get into deals. Now, obviously, we're not talking about getting a credit card to Macy's and to go buy stuff. You know, like that's kind of what's went on over the last weekend. But we're really talking about being able to utilize your credit score to kind of start building a legacy, you know, to start getting into investments and different things of that nature. So that way, yeah, you can spend the cash if you want to, but I'm always about options. You know, if life presents itself and I'm able to spend the cash, cool. But if I can leverage some money and then be able to kind of keep that cash stored away, then I'll go about it that way as well. But the only way you're able to do that and take advantage of it is to either, one, protect the credit score that you have now, obviously use the Novae Money product to kind of get you to where you want to be.
Awesome. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, man. You know, you're definitely on your stuff. Check it out. You know, a lot of people who are joining us tonight are familiar with income shifting and my econ. And one of the things, you know, that we've learned since we've been a part of that platform that's very popular is the phrase cash, asset, cash. And I think after, you know, you've been able to say, give us those words of wisdom, I think it will be safe to say that, you know, another phrase that everybody should be very familiar with, become familiar with and comfortable with is credit, asset, cash. You know, I learned early on in my career, and one of the things that have helped me not only become successful financially, but be able to maintain that status is the way you build wealth in this country is OPT and OPM. That's other people's time and other people's money, right? And credit obviously allows you to do that, especially as an entrepreneur. So moving on,